Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. My name is Grossman, and today I am your coach for the Texan Clear Bodies in season number 2 of the Alola International. If you missed out on season number 1, it is in fact in the description. No, it's on the channel in one of the playlists. Alola International season 1 was actually really short for us. We only had a couple weeks that we had to play. I'm not 100% sure because I don't remember off the top of my head whether I ended up uploading every single game that we played, but because of the fact that we were able to sub in for the coach that we were replacing, we actually were invited back to season 2 of the Alola International. And I mentioned in our previous update video, which went up I think a month ago or something like that, that Alola International was on its way and we were a guaranteed coach in the season. So yeah, we're here, and this, my friends, is our Season 2 draft analysis. Now, for those of you who don't know, even I didn't know this as the draft was happening. I found out after the draft happened and understood it just now, that this draft was done in GBA format tiering system. We used a tiering system where each coach had picks that they had to make, and 4 free picks up to 1,000 total points. We had to pick our 6 required picks were a tier 1 worth 180 points, a tier 2 worth 120 points, two tier 3s that were worth 100 points each, a tier 4 which was worth 60 points, and a tier 5, I believe, that was worth 40 points. The remainder of our that total is 600 points. The remaining 400 were for us to use in our last 4 picks as we saw fit, and we were allowed to do any combination of 4 picks that totaled out to 1,000. So we had 400 points. We could have gone with 2 tier 2s, or 4 tier 2s if I wanted to, or sorry, 4 tier 3s if I wanted to, so on and so forth. But in our pool of 1,000 points, I actually ended up only using 960 of them. I have 40 points left in my pool, and you'll see that here in a little while, potentially, probably not. But I have 40 points left in my pool in case I decide to make a free agency transaction. I'm able to drop and raise a free agency transaction. I.e., I can drop one of my two tier 3 drafts that were extras and pick up a tier 2 in place of it. Or I can drop 2 tier 2s and pick up, 2 tier 3 free choices and swap those out for 2 tier 2s if I wanted to. That's why I have that 40 point reservoir in case I need it. But yeah, so that's how the draft works. And this, my friends, is our draft analysis. We were 13th seed overall in a 16-man draft. We were 13th pick overall, which is not the best, but coming back on the ladder, because it is a snake style draft, coming back on the ladder, that was a very, very, very good thing. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm very happy with the draft I ended up with. A lot of good choices, a lot of good support to a couple of my mons, and I think that my cores that I've established are really, really good. I've got a good defensive core to pair with our mega, and so on and so forth. But yes, each coach was required to have 1 mega, and we each have 1 Z captain, which is a Z captain, but we are obviously in restrictions as far as what Z crystals to use and whatnot have you, i.e. Mew cannot use the Mew Z, you can't use Omni Boost, which are +1s to everything, you can't use things like Z Celebrate, Z Happy Hour, those busted moves like Z Conversion and so on and so forth. But with all that being said, I believe that's everything I need to cover to the draft itself. So let's go ahead and jump on in to my draft picks. Mind you, these draft picks are not 100% in order. They are almost fully in order. But on the right side of your screen, once the team comes up, you will see the draft in the order that it was drafted, because that's how we did it. We weren't required to go tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, free. You know, we weren't required to do that. We could have drafted it in any order. So if we wanted to start with a tier 3 or tier 2 or whatever, we could have done that, as long as we get all our drafts in the 11 rounds of picking, which is to signify, let me move my headset for a little bit, but which is to signify that we have a 11 mon draft, which is generally what we end up with. But yeah, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into Pokemon Showdown so I can stop rambling. Pokemon Showdown is where our team is, so let's go ahead and jump on in. As I said earlier, on the right side of the screen is the X and Clear Buddies draft in the order it was drafted. The first thing we picked up one thing I forgot to mention is that this league is a Wi-Fi league, so this will be taking the place of Wi-Fi Wednesday for the next, 10 weeks or so? Something like that? 10, 15 weeks, something like that. This will be taking the place of Wi-Fi Wednesdays for the channel, but I may still upload Wi-Fi battles outside of the Alola International, but we will see. Those will not be promised, but we will see what we get. But yeah, so the first thing I picked up in my draft was Vaporeon, because the one thing to keep in mind is, as you can see on the screen down here, oh, I didn't adjust everyone. Whoops, I'll adjust as we go, that's okay. These matches will be taking place at level 50. I meant to adjust everybody to level 50 before I started, but it's fine. I'll adjust as we go so I can show you guys the optimal level 50 stats. But yeah, so as I said, the first thing I picked up was my Vaporeon, May, the Vaporeon. This thing has water absorb, so my immediate water immunity, so that's fabulous. So the water type weakness that potentially could happen in my team is immediately alleviated. It's immediately wiped out because of the water absorb ability. Vaporeon, let's look at its stats a little bit. It has 130 HP, 65 attack, which is irrelevant. 60 defense, 110 special attack, 95 speed def, and 65 in my speed. So it's, again, 65 speed is somewhat slow, but it's not the slowest thing in the world. 130 HP combined with either of the defenses, 60 or 95 is respectable. 110 special attack makes it so Vaporeon can hit hard enough with little to no investment, which is fabulous. I also have things like Wish, Protect, Heal Bell. Got Wish, Protect, Heal Bell, Scald, which is fabulous. I've got Baton Pass for momentum control. I've got Hidden Power if I need that as coverage. I've got Haze to stop sweepers. I've got Ice Beam for coverage. I've got Resto Chesto. I've got Roar for phasing. I've got Shadow Ball for coverage. And then physical attacks and Wish. I've got Toxic for stalling as well. So I've got a lot going for me in this Vaporeon here. Vaporeon will be our probably our physically defensive mon, probably our special defense mon. It just depends on what roles it can serve, but this thing will be one of our clerics, probably. And I really like Vaporeon, and because it's essential to the sake of recovery, the sake of maintaining my healthiness in the team, I ultimately decided to pick it up first because I wanted to guarantee picking it up because it is an essential switch in to a lot of my team's weaknesses. Like if I have a fire type weakness, I switch into this thing. Electric type weaknesses are sucked up by something later in the team, but you know, this thing's a switch into ice types. This thing's a switch into fire types. This thing is not a switch into grass types, but I have something later on in the line to switch into that. So there's just a lot of synergy that goes along with Vaporeon, and I wanted to pick it up just so I have access to it, and I wanted to try it, maybe see what happens. So yeah, I don't know. The next thing we have on our team is Ahoy Captain, our Z Captain Mew, Again, like I said earlier in the video, Mew cannot and will not use its Z crystal. It will not use Mew and MZ. However, I am able to use like Ground EMZ, Poison EMZ, and a whole, like the offensive Z moves. I can use boosting Z moves if I wanted to, as long as they're not things like Z conversion or whatever. But I'll probably end up using offensive Z moves with this thing more commonly than not. But we'll see. Let me just cover why I picked up Mew really quickly before I cover anything else about Mew. I'll also cover why Mew is a fabulous Z Crystal user. First of all, let's look at its stats. 100 all the way across, which means that I have bulk, I have an offensive pressure, I have defensive pressure, I have a bulky attacker, I have a bulky defender, I've got a bulky special attacker, I've got special pivots, I've got a pivoter, I've got I don't know, I've got everything with this thing. I've got utility with this thing, I've got momentum control, I've got speed, I've got defense, I've got special defense, I've got bulk in HP, I've got offense and attack, and I've got special attack offense as well. And then Mew, for those of you who don't know, has access to every single TM in the game. Ice Beam, Sludge Bomb, Leech Seed, any TM in the game it has access to. Those are just 3 that I could come up with. Psychic is another one, Shadow Ball, things like that. So Mew has a lot of coverage to it, and I like that about Mew as well, is that it's got a lot of coverage, it's got a lot of bulk to it, it's got a lot going for it. I really and truly believe that it's got a lot going for it. Its HP is strangely higher than the rest of its stats, considering that they're all base 100 otherwise. I don't know why his HP is 175 and his defenses are everything else is 120. I don't know why. Don't ask me that. But yeah, why does Mew make the best Z Captain in the game? Because it has access to every single move in the game. So I can turn every single move, as far as TMs is concerned, into a Z Crystal, into a Z move. Fire MZ, Fire Blast, Fire MZ, Eruption, probably not, I don't know. Fire Blast, Flamethrower, I've got Sludge Bomb, Poison MZ, I've got Sludge Wave, Poison MZ, I've got Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, Poison MZ, things like that. So I have a lot of options with Mew. I have Psychinium Z Psychic, I have Psychinium Z Psychic, really, that's all I need for that. Darkinium Z Dark Pulse, Darkinium Z Knockoff, if I wanted to do that. Darkinium Z Knockoff. I don't know. There's just a lot of options with Mew, and I wanted that versatility, I wanted that control as far as what I wanted to do with it. So I liked Mew for that reason and I picked it up. So yeah. The next thing we have on our team this season is our Mega for the season. And the thing that I designed the team around. Our Captain Sniper, our Mega Pinsir, holding the Pinsirite with Aerialate, of course. It will start with Moxie every single time. For those of you who don't know what Moxie is an ability that increases my attack stat by 1 every time I get a kill. However, I imagine the Alola International has a first turn Mega Evolution rule, so I kind of can't take advantage of Moxie, but it will be Moxie every time. I forgot to cover, let me go ahead and go back to these really quick. I forgot to cover the abilities on my Mons. Mew's Synchronized ability makes it so if I get statused, the opposing Pokemon gets statused as well, barring the fact that it is like poison on a poison type sitting in front of me. So if a Fire Punch Electivire burns me, then the Electivire gets burned because it's synchronized. So that's another thing that's fabulous about Mew. It's bulky enough to take the blast even if it gets poisoned, even if it gets like statused besides like burn or toxic, of course, more so toxic, but it's also able to shoot that status back to the opponent, keeping control in my side of the field. Let me go ahead and cover Mew's Mai's abilities really quick. Water Absorb, like I mentioned before, is a water type immunity, immediate water type immunity, and Hydration is status healing in rain in case I ever face a rain team or if I end up bringing a rain team for some reason. But yeah, so let me go back to Captain Sniper here. Captain Sniper, the male Mega Pinsir with Aerialate. There's not much to say about Pinsir, honestly, because there's not. 65 HP, 155 attack, 120 defense, 65 special attack, 90 speed def, and 105 speed. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it is fast enough. With that base 155 attack stat, I want you guys to understand, this thing has more base attack than Mega Metagross. And Mega Metagross is broken in League format as it is. So, this thing is even more broken in League format. Because generally, if you don't resist a quick attack, the quick attack will kill you. Generally. You don't resist quick attack, it kills you. I also have things like Swords Dance to make that even worse. I also have things like Earthquake for coverage. And just things like that. And 105 isn't the fastest thing in the world, mind you. But hey, it's fast. It's fast. And Aerialate also makes my normal type attacks like Return, more so Frustration, as well as Quick Attack, Stab moves. Stab is a plus 1.5, I think? Plus 0.5 boost. Same type attack bonus of 0.5 damage output. So that makes damage output even worse. So let's cover some of its moves really quick. I've got Brick Break for coverage if I wanted to. I've got Close Combat, which is most likely. Earthquake is there as well if I can click into a moves slot so I can scroll down for you guys. But this thing doesn't like me. One moment, there we go. Close Combat, I've got Earthquake for coverage. I've got Facade if I get burned. Frustration is my return. I've got Knockoff utility in this. I've got Quick Attack priority. Rock Slide coverage. I've got Stealth Rocks on this thing, but I probably never use Stealth Rocks on this. I've got Stone Edge on this thing. I've got Superpower, Swords Dance, and X-Scissor as well. So this thing's a bit of a one-trick pony in my opinion, but that one-trick pony puts in the finest of work, and that's exactly what I'm expecting Mega Pinsir to do for us this season as well. The next thing we have on our team this season is hashtag rollout the Donphan. Donphan, as you see, has the ability Sturdy, which guarantees that it lives one hit from full HP, barring like sashes or like without a sash, barring like Stealth Rocks or Spikes or whatever. But Sturdy makes it so I guarantee get my Stealth Rocks up, I guarantee a hit before I die. And in Sandville, of course, if Sand Team, then I have a 1.5 evasion. And I also don't take sand damage from Sandstorm. So let's look a little bit at Donphan's bulk. 90 HP, 120 attack, 120 defense, 60 special attack, 60 speed def, and 50 speed. Donphan is not fast, but Donphan is designed to be bulky with that 120 defense with 90 HP. Respectable indeed. Speed def is 60. Probably never run this thing speed def, but regardless, with the 90 HP, it can take a hit. It can take a hit, and that's what I'm looking for. Donphan with 120 attack puts in a lot of work with things like Earthquake, things like Rock Slide, things like Knockoff, things like Ice Shard. Just there's a lot of things going for us. This thing also gets Rapid Spin, and it is my primary Rapid Spinner on this team. Ferrothorn also gets Rapid Spin, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe Ferrothorn gets Rapid Spin. I'll double check that. But we did draft Ferrothorn later on in the draft, but I'll cover that when we get to it. But yeah, I believe that Donphan has a lot of bulk to it. I believe that Donphan has a lot of potential to it. It can switch in, take a hit, and click Ice Shard before it dies, or whatever have you, but it can put a lot of pressure onto teams. It can keep rocks off our side of the field, which is especially important for our Mega Pinsir, because Mega Pinsir is a flying type, so it does not appreciate Stealth Rocks. So this thing keeps rocks off our side, while putting rocks on the opposing side. So that and the bulk it provides make it a valuable asset to the team, and that's why I picked it up. So the next thing we have on our draft, making a return from the PPC as well, is our is our shiny, no, non-shiny female Volt Absorb Keating, the Jolteon. Volt Absorb, of course, is my electric immunity, which covers Vaporeon's weakness. Volt Absorb ability makes it so I switch into electric type attacks for free, and get HP back from the hits. And Jolteon is not bulky like Vaporeon is, but Jolteon is fast. So let's cover some of its stats really quick. 65 HP, 65 attack, 60 defense, 110 special attack, 95 SPDF, and 130 speed. The two big stats to notice: 110 special attack and 130 speed, with the 95 in the special defense being next best. 95 SPDF makes it viable-ish. 65 HP, not the bulkiest thing in the world. We'll see what happens. But the big things to keep in mind: 130 speed, which is very fast, very fast. Allows me to run things like Choice Specs, Magnet, Life Orb, more commonly than not, but we'll see what I do. But yeah. Also, one thing to keep in mind with this draft: just because I'm mentioning potential things I can bring does not mean that those will be the only things I'm limited to. I could bring lots more. Just depends on how I play the team. So, just because I'm giving you guys ideas of what I could bring does not mean that those will be what I bring against you. So, 110 special attack means I don't need to be invested very much to put out a lot of power. That was the same way with our Vaporeon. 110 special attack, I can be like 8 invested and still get like 2 tap with Scald. Get a 2 KO with Scald on something super effective or something neutral. I can 2 tap it with Scald with minimal investment. Same thing applies for Jolteon, so I could run a bulky Jolteon if I wanted to. So that's a new thing to keep in mind. So yeah. But the biggest reasons I pick up Jolteon is it synergizes beautifully with my Vaporeon, and it is fast electric type, it's a fast electric type, which, for those of you who don't know, fast electric types are a necessity in the league format. So that's the thing. And it's really fast. It gives us momentum control with Volt Switch. It gives us hidden power. It gives us Shadow Ball. Gives us hidden power, like I said before. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Thunder, Rain Dance. If I wanted to bring a Rain Team, like I said before. Signal Beam for coverage. It's got a lot of fun things going for it, and that's also why I drafted it in the PPC as well. For those of you who have not seen our PPC stuff, it is hopefully linked down below. If not, it is one of the playlists on the channel. I encourage you to check out the PPC because that is a showdown league that I am currently taking part in. But yeah, so the next thing we have on our team this season, is Stay In the Ferrothorn. This is homage to Desiree and the fact that she stayed in with a Ferrothorn on a Victini who's clicking V-Create. So this is homage to that. Yay for that. That was PPC Season 2, again, her team against Aaron's. But this name is homage to that. We picked up Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is my physically defensive one. Guaranteed physically defensive one. Why? Because Iron Barbs. Physically defensive with Iron Barbs to do physical defensive damage. This thing is the chipper. This thing chips away at my opponents. This thing will always chip away at my opponents. You know, let's look at its stats really quick. 74 HP, not the biggest thing, not the best thing in the world. 94 attack. Still, Rapid Spin. I've got Rapid Spin on this. I've got Leech Seed Protect. I've got Toxic, probably. I've got Power Whip, things like that. So I've got Stab on me as well, but I've got this is another one of my fairy answers because I have things like Flash Cannon, I believe. One of my fairy answers. I've also got like Leech Seed Recovery. I've got Toxic Protect. I've got Rapid Spin, like I said before, and I believe, and I'll double check this, does this thing get Stealth Rocks? I believe I get Stealth Rocks on this thing as well. I do. I get Stealth Rocks and Rapid Spin on this, I believe. No, I don't. I don't get Rapid Spins on this. But this thing is a... That's funny. I think I got Rapid Rapid Spin. Hold on. I feel like I get Rapid Spin, but I don't. Okay, well, I guess I changed that in Gen 7. But this thing is physically defensive. This thing is a Stealth Rocker that takes pressure off of Donphan. That means I don't have to bring Donphan every week if I don't think Donphan synergizes well. I don't have to bring Donphan every week. But one thing to keep in mind, which is why I have Vaporeon on the team, is that Ferrothorn is ×4 weak to fire type attacks, so I switch in a fire type attack. I switch in Vaporeon to a fire type attack every time, so that is that. The 115 special defense with 131 defense make it what is viable. 20 speed, it's bulky, don't worry about it. 74 HP, not the best. 94 attack, respectable. 54 special attack, never in my life, so don't worry about that. But yeah, you can see this thing with leftovers, you can see this thing with eject button, I don't know. You see this thing with Rocky Helmet, you see this thing with, like, I don't know. But this thing is bulky, that's what that thing's for. It's another one with it's another grass type. It synergizes well with something further on my team. But I don't know. This is a kind of busted draft analysis. I don't know. The next thing we have in our draft this season is our High Man, the shiny male Among Us. Now let me talk to you guys about why I picked up Among Us. Among Us is my primary Spadefmon, probably. I can see this thing with Assault Vest. I can see this thing as far as, oh, did I cover, hold on, did I cover, 1 second, let's go through this again. Did I cover, oh no, I didn't cover, but I'm going to cover it really quickly. Iron Barb's ability is, I think his only ability, let me check. Yeah, no, it gets hidden ability Anticipation, but I'm never going to run Anticipation, so I don't need to worry about it. But Iron Barb's ability is the ability in which if a Pokemon's physical move makes contact, I think it's physical move, more commonly. If the opposing team's physical move makes contact with Ferrothorn, the opponent takes damage. But yeah, the next thing we have on our team is our High Man, the Effect Spore, potentially, or Regenerator more commonly. My specially defensive Among Us. This thing is my response to fairy types. This thing is my response to fire types because I can take a hit from them, click Hidden Power Rock, and blow them away. I've got Sludge Bomb on this thing. I've got Sleep Powder on this thing. I've got Leech Seed on this thing. I've got Protect. I've got Toxic. Sludge Bomb. Sludge Wave, I think. Probably not. But I've got a nice and powerful pool going for me. I've got Clear Smog to eliminate fairies and setup. I have Energy Ball as stab. What else do I have? I have Giga Drain for recovery. I have Foul Play to kill those physical attackers. I've got Grass Knot for coverage as well. I've got Seed Bomb. I've got Sludge Bomb, like I said before. Spore and Stun Spore. Spore, put something to sleep. Stun Spore, paralyze something. Sub 3 attacks, Synthesis for recovery, and Toxic for toxic shenanigans. Regenerator ability. Generator ability is an ability which allows me to switch out, regain health as turns progress that I am not sitting in front of something else. And then Effect Support is an ability that has a chance to put a status condition on the opposing Pokemon that makes contact with Among Us. But let's look at Among Us' stats really quickly. 114 HP, 85 attack, 70 defense, 85 special attack, 80 speed F, and 30 in speed. It's not the fattest thing in the world, but when you look at 140 with 80 on either side, or I'm sorry, 80 in the special defense and 70 on the defensive side, those two pair up really well. And I like Among Us. I've used it before, but I want to use it in a league format. And I think that it synergizes well with our draft. Yeah, our draft is a little grass type weak, is a little poison type weak, but this thing switches in for that. So I don't know. The next thing we have is a snipe on Miss Emma, another coach in this league. She wanted this thing. I sniped it from her. She immediately asked me if I would be willing to trade for it. I have yet to trade her for it. I probably won't trade her for it because it plays so well on our team. so I wanted to keep it for our team. Is our non-shiny male Piloswine, with Eviolite most of the time. Oblivious ability is so essentially, so basically I can put up rocks for free because you can't taunt me. That's what that ability is. Thick Fat allows me to suck up super effective hits in fire types and ice type hits, more commonly fire type attacks. Allows me to suck up those fire type attacks, quick Earthquake and blow you away. I get Ice Shard, I get Icicle Crash, I get Stealth Rocks. Do I get Rapid Spin on this? Probably not, but it's worth checking. I get Blizzard if I wanted to. I get Earth Power as a special attacker. Probably physical though. Rapid. No. Okay. I didn't think so. But yeah. So I get a lot of things going for me there. I've got Earthquake, like I said. I've got Freeze Dry to cover me for those water types. So I could probably run like a Water Reduction Berry and whatever have you. I've got Ice Beam for coverage. I've got Ice Shard, Priority. I've got Icicle Spear and Icicle Crash. I got my screens if I want to have those. Roar for phasing. Stealth Rocks, like I said. Stone Edge, Rock Slide. Superpower if I wanted to, and then Toxic Shenanigans. And let's look at its stats really quickly. 100 HP, 100 attack, 80 defense, 60 special attack, 60 special defense, 50 speed. Again, not the fastest thing in the world, but again, nobody's anticipating you to be fast. The point is, you are fat. Why? Because Eviolite doubles my defensive stats, making the base stats 140 and 120, which means that I am fat. Yes, my team is probably weak to like knockoff, probably, but that's generally what happens with my teams. But High Man is a switch in for that at that point. So I like this thing because, again, it's Stealth Rocks. It's a taunt immunity. It is bulky. It is an offensive pressure. A lot of offensive pressure. It's got Earthquake, Ice Shard, Icicle Crash, things like that. This is another Stealth Rocker that takes pressure off of Ferrothorn and Donphan as well. Donphan is our only Stealth Rocker, our only Defogger, Rapid Spinner. That is one thing to keep in mind. But yeah. So the next thing we have on our team is another of our offensive things, but this is what completes our Fire, Water, Grass core in Vaporeon, Amoonguss, Ferrothorn, and this Delphox. Mindy, our Delphox, female Delphox, of course, level 50, like always, but Delphox has Blaze ability. It also has Magician, which essentially is if I don't bring an item 1 week by accident or by choice, and I kill an opponent, then I steal their item from them before they die. Let's look at some stats really quick. I have 75 HP, 69 attack, 72 defense, 114 special attack, 100 special defense, and 104 speed. 104 speed makes this thing not too fast, but not too slow either. I could be Choice Scarf, I could be Choice Specs, I could be Life Orb, I could be Choice Scarf Trick if I wanted to be. And the 114 special attack means that I don't have to be invested fully to get the kills I want to get. Same thing applies for Vaporeon and Jolteon. I could be bulky 1 week if I wanted to be as well. Who knows? But let's look at some of the coverage that this thing gives us. I've got Dazzling Gleam for the dark types. For Sableye specifically, I've got Fire Blast for stab. I've got Flame Charge if I want to do physical. Flamethrower. I've got Calm Mind as a setup sweeper. I have Grass Knot for coverage. I have Hidden Power for coverage. Like I said, coverage. Hidden Power coverage. Psychic. Psyshock coverage as well. Shadow Ball for coverage. Signal Beam for coverage. Sub Switcheroo if I wanted to as well. Toxic. Trick, like I said. And then Will-O-Wisp and Wish. Zenheb is there as well as Stab. Not really, no, it's not Stab, it's coverage, but I wouldn't run it. I've got Wish recovery on this thing as well. I've got Trick as a Choice Scarfer if I wanted to do that. And I've got Will-O-Wisp for momentum control and utility. So, That's what we've got going there. And 104 speed and the 114 special attack. And the fact that I've used Delphox in a league before is why I wanted to pick it up. The next thing we have on our team is Crobat. I have yet to nickname this Crobat, but I will probably have nicknamed it shortly from now, but I'll nickname it later. But we have Crobat. Crobat is a defogger. Let me cover why I picked up Delphox. I'm sorry, Crobat. It's a defogger. It takes pressure off of Donphan. I've got a lot of speed in this thing. I've got a lot of offensive in this thing. I've got a lot of bulk in this thing. And then its abilities. Inner Focus makes it so I can't be flinched by, like, fake out Mega Lopunny. I can't be flinched. I can run Rocky Helmet, fake out, pressure on that. Then Infiltrator lets me hit through a substitute. It doesn't let me hit through Protect, but it lets me hit through a substitute. Let me look at some moves really quick. Air Slash, Brave Bird, Dark Pulse, Defog. Like I said before, Defog was an option. Can I scroll down, please? I hate this. Scroll down. We've got Giga Drain if I want to be that way. Haze for setup, sweeping, blocking. Leech Life for recovery, since that's a thing now. Nasty Plot for special attacker. Pursuit Trapping, Quick Attack. I've got Roost for recovery. I've got Shadow Ball. I've got Sludge Bomb for stab and coverage. Super Fang for some nice, clean chipping. Taunt for phasing or stopping things from setting up and whatnot. Toxic for utility, and then U-turn for momentum. And then let's look at some stats. We have 85 HP, 90 attack, 80 defense, 70 special attack, 80 special defense, and 130 speed. The things to keep in mind with this thing are the 90 attack, 85 HP, and the 130 speed. 130 speed makes my speed tier on this team 130. That is the speed tier to break on my team because those are the fastest things I have on my team. And I think it synergizes well with Jolteon, pairing it with a fast U-turner as well. So I've got my Volturn core there as well. Fire, Water, Grass core. So I think I'm happy with this thing as well. What does Crobat do? Bulky, Defogger, Tailwind control. I've got Speed Control and Tailwind. I've got U-turn. I've got Brave Bird. I've got Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, I think, and I've got like other moves. But I really, the reason I picked this thing up is because of what it provides, how fat it can be. Because I promise you, Crobat is fat. How fat it can be, how much pressure it can put on, and I wanted to put in that pressure. I'm hoping it does. So let's hope it does as well. The last thing we have on our team is our Madara, our Kecleon, male Kecleon. And here's the only reason I picked up this thing, is Protean. Protean makes it so Kecleon gets stabbed on whatever it clicks. So I could be Choice Banded, I could be Life Orbs, who knows. I've got things like Shadow Sneak Priority, I've got Stealth Rocks on this thing as well. And then I've got like a lot of fun moves to play with on this thing as well. Got Fake Out Pressure on this thing, I've got Stealth Rocks on this thing, I've got Dark Pulse, things like that. I've got Knockoff on this thing, I believe. Let's actually look. I've got Ice Punch, like I said. Knockoff, like I said. Ice Punch there is coverage. I've got Stealth Rocks. I've got Shadow Sneak Priority. Just a lot of fun things to do with this thing. And I've got Recover if I want to sit there and stall you. I've got Sucker Punch as well, I think. More so Shadow Sneak though. I'm worried about that more so. I do in fact have Sucker Punch as well. Depending on situation, I may or may not have both. Got Stealth Rocks, which puts a lot less pressure on Donphan. So, got Toxic Utility, and then Trick. If I decide to be a Choice Scarf Tricker, I can do that as well. Let's look at his stats really quick. We have 60 HP, 90 attack, 70 defense, 60 special attack, 120 special defense, beautiful special defensive mon. And then 40 speed. Not the fastest thing, but that's why we have Protean Shadow Sneak. Protean, for those of you who don't know, is an ability that makes Kecleon's typing the same as the move it's using. Its color change ability does that after it gets hit by a opposing attack, but ultimately Protean is infinitely better. Shadow Sneak, Rocks, knockoff. A lot of fun things to do with this thing. The other thing to keep in mind is the 90 attack is respectable, especially with stab in place. Kecleon will pick up a kill and you won't even realize it. So I wanted to give Kecleon a chance. I've seen a lot of these mons perform really well in League format, and I wanted to try them, so that's why I picked them up. But with that being said, that is our draft this season. I hope you guys like our draft, and if you don't, or if you have any criticisms or whatever have you, I encourage you to leave them down below in the description or in the comments, because any sort of criticism will help me decide on free agency transactions that I can start making in the beginning of week 2, at the end of week 1. So if I end up making a free agency transaction, it may or may not be thanks to you. Let me know what you guys think of the team, like I said, and I'm hoping this team performs really well. If you're interested to see what the Alola International will bring to the channel, the future Wi-Fi battles, and the team builders, then I encourage you to leave a like to this, as well as subscribe down below, because this content will begin next week. I'm going to ask on Twitter. I encourage you to follow me down there. I'm going to ask you guys on Twitter. Twitter is in the description, by the way. I encourage you to check out Twitter, because I'm going to ask there whether you'd like my battle and team builders together or separate, because I can do both. I can do both. I probably end up doing it separately, only because it's more convenient that way for me, but I can do both together if I need to. But again, let me know down below what you guys think of the team, and let me know whether you'd like team builders separately or not. But with all that being said, I think I'm going to call this a video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and also be sure to check out things like my Twitter and other content if you're interested. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call this a video. If you guys enjoyed, like I said, leave a like. But until the next video, this is your coach for the Texan Clear Bodies. My name is Rodriguez Man, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.